Let's dig into the tax reform bill. It's been generating controversy. Skepticism, criticism has greeted this bill. Let's bring in Adefeko. He's a member of the Presidential Committee on Tax Reforms. He's also the chairman, Industrial Group, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He joins me on the program via Zoom. Good to have you join us.
Thank you very much for having me. Good evening, viewers. Good evening, listeners. Good evening, the world.
All right, so I wanted to ask you why you think that there is so much skepticism and criticism around this bill, especially from interest groups, for example, the Northern Governors.
Let me speak to something. I'm not here to speak about politics. But what usually happens in this thing is that there's politics in everything. But my role, and I must say, unequivocally, I'm not speaking on behalf of the commission or the committee. I'm speaking in my capacity as chairman of the Industrial Group and a member of the committee. And I must say, unequivocally, that this committee is one of the best that we've set up since independence to make sure we look at the total reform and review of our tax laws and acts. And we put in so much effort. We are all from different walks of life who came in, sat down for almost 6, 7, 8, 9 months to put something together. And I was overhearing in the last 2, 3 weeks that there was no consultation. That is very, very, very untrue. There was consultation. The chairman of the committee, Mr. Yedele, has been very, very democratic in making sure that at every point in time, when we speak about issues, he says, listen, we must consult with the respective constituencies. I don't know what more else anyone wants. You see, the problem in Nigeria is that we have a trust deficit between ourselves and our leaders. So between the leaders and the elected. And that should not in any way preclude us from doing the right thing. I think this reform bill is in order. I think it should be passed by the Senate. I think it should be assented to by the President. And I think it should be law. So for me, we have a penchant for always criticizing. And you know, that's cheap the last time I checked. A lot of people who comment on some of these things have not even read a draft of what it is or what it speaks to. All they do is they join the background of what you call Monday morning quarterback. After a game has been played, everybody comes on air and starts saying, like Budget should have done this, Cabinet should have done that. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those. I'm a thorough professional who works in an industry where we see the problems of tax reform across countries, from Estonia to Argentina, and everybody is trying to review that tax code. If you want to give the President and kudos for anything, you must give them kudos for this. There was no interference in any way from anybody. At no point in time did anybody say the SGF is calling you, Chief of Staff is calling you, the Minister of Finance. No. We come on the weekends, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. I mean, intense debate.
Mr. Adefeko, if I may quickly comment, because you mentioned the issue of consultation. I wanted to ask how far-reaching the consultations were, because one would imagine that if there were consultations, some of the issues that are now being raised, especially the issue on VAT, by the Northern Governors wouldn't come up.
You see, I will say, like I told you again when I started, I'm not here to play politics. I'm a Nigerian who speaks the 3 major languages, Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba, so I'm at home anywhere. So if anybody comes to tell me that the Northern Governor said this or the Northern Governor said that, they're being mistreated. We had different sittings and plenary sessions for different geopolitical zones at different points in time, in which members of the committee were chosen to accompany the chairman on some of these talks. So, and these things were announced far ahead to give room for people to be able to participate. There were town halls, there were Zoom meetings. Everybody, I repeat, everybody. I make bold to say that this committee is one of the best committees that has come up with pragmatic solutions to our problems. And I think reducing taxes from double digit to single digit in a space of one year, 18 months, I think is a remarkable success. And I think we shouldn't take that for granted.
All right, so Mr. Adefeko, I have very limited time. Sorry to butt in.
Please, can I land?
All right, land on your thoughts.
Yes, let me land on my thoughts. I do not, and I repeat, I do not want to come here and sit on the premise of any political process. I'm not here as a politician. I'm here as a technocrat. We all are leaders, directors, MDs in our respective associations, bodies, and I mean, I represent LCCI on one hand, I represent NASIM on the other, and I represent my company on the other. So let's not go into that thing of we didn't consult. We consulted. What usually happens with these politicians is that when you consult, when you speak to them, the people they send to come and speak for them, usually do not look at the detail. If you don't look at the detail, how is that my fault? I gave you a time frame. We told you how long we were sitting. We told you who we were consulting with. We told you in terms of reference. We told you what we were doing. And if you did not come to critique or comment on what we were doing, then too bad. So don't come in the morning and start saying we should talk about water. I will not play politics here. I'm the chairman of the industrial group of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And I stand by that. And what I'm speaking to is that we had robust discussions. We had very, very engaging sessions with everybody, all on Sunday. And I must say, without
Mr. Adefeko, I think that you have landed on that thought. Let me quickly come in. All right. So one of the things that people are also talking about, which Nigerians are concerned about, and I think that Senator Ali Ndume also raised the issue of timing. For people, the worry is, for Nigerians, is where does this fit in in terms of the economic realities? How does this match? Does it help? Does it not help? That's the conversation for Nigerians. Senator Ali Ndume has also raised that issue of timing. Speak to that.
I will speak to that, and I will speak to many things as well. You see, talk is cheap the last time I checked. We have a problem in the country. Yes, I'm one of those who speak to some of the policies of this country as having sequencing problem issues.
Yes.
But in particular,
looks like Mr. Adefeko seems to be having interruptions there. All right, Mr. Adefeko, go ahead.
To you from the side of the road, where we have the masses, the same people who you want to pretend this tax over, who are complaining that they have unofficial taxes and they want just one-stop shop. And I think that addresses what the bill that the president sent to the National Assembly for access. So there will never be a right time. Okay? There will never be a right time. Sequencing is an issue, and we can speak on the sequencing. But you know what? Let us do what we need to do. Listen to me again. We must be strategic, we must be intentional, we must be deliberate. Let's not go about this, or he said this, I said that. See, Ndume is entitled to his opinion. It is his point of view. Okay? He's entitled to opinion.
All right, so Mr.
Nobody can come from another place and speak to it. So this is his opinion, he's entitled to it.
Right.
And I'm not going to begrudge it.
I was listening to Mr. Oyedele, was it yesterday? I think it was. And he was speaking to the issue of, which I found very interesting, I think Nigerians will also find very interesting, the fact that VAT will now be removed for food items. Where does that land in terms of the commodity prices conversation? When you take out VAT for food items, what does that mean for commodity prices?
Let me speak to something first and foremost. I'm someone who plays in the area of agriculture, and I can speak to agriculture like I'm speaking to you in any other area. You see, we have a problem in Nigeria right now as we speak. We have a food availability problem and a food availability problem. So that's a two-pronged issue we're dealing with. Food availability. So if they tell you that the VAT on it is being reduced over a period of time, or starting with X or Y time, I don't think it's out of place. See, let us not go into the nitty-gritties of when it should take effect. Let us pass it. Let's move with it, then we can sequence it properly. Sequencing is important, I agree. But I do not agree that after all this time we spent doing the best we can for the country, a lot of us sacrifice it. Somebody comes up, or some people come up at a meeting and decide to disparage everything we've done by saying that we are wasting our time, coming every day, every night, having Zoom meetings between 6 and 9 p.m. every day, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I mean, come on. Let's not
and we get that, Mr. Adefeko. That's one side of the conversation. The other side of the conversation is what Nigerians actually want to know, how this bill benefits them beyond, what the Nigerian Governors Forum is saying. And that's why I'm asking you that, because it's very important. I mean, that's good news for Nigerians to know that VAT will be taken away from food items. I'm just asking you, whether it's in long run or in the short term, what would that mean for commodity prices? I'm very sure that's what most Nigerians will be interested in.
What I will speak to is this. The problem is not about what you're taxing. For you to tax anything, it must be available in the first place. If some of the non-governors are complaining about certain things, those things are available in their states already. Then some of them are benefiting from the taxes from those items. But they are saying to themselves that why should X or Y not happen? You know what I'm saying? Let's not go political here. Food items are at an all-time high. This is brought about not because of taxes. There are a plethora of taxes that are out there that are affecting the food systems already. But what we are trying to do right now is to make sure that we do not impoverish the poor. That is important. Food security is an integral part of national security, and there's a nexus between both. So let us deal with those issues and address them properly. Let's not go into that political game of Lagbaja said this, that somebody said that. I'm sorry. I'm being emotional here, but I just don't like that system of when something has been announced, something has been agreed, then somebody comes up and says, you know what, I don't think I agree with it. Why?
All right.
Please, let's sequence, let's do it right, let's give you.
We do have to leave the conversation there. Thank you so much for your time. Pleasure to have you on. We do have to leave it there, Mr. Adefeko. We've been speaking with Adefeko, who is a member of the Presidential Committee on Tax Reforms. He is also the chairman, Industrial Group, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Well, let's move to another issue.